Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I got another video for you guys, and we're going to be talking about how to get more bookings on Turo. Right, so for those that don't know who I am, my name is Keon. I'm an all-star Turo host in San Antonio, Texas. I have 8 cars on the platform, and today I'm going to be helping you guys get more bookings on Turo. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first recommendation that I have is to take high quality photos of all of your cars, right? So I scroll on Turo a lot because I'm always doing market research on like what cars to buy, and 95% of all the listings look like this picture on the right. People will take the pictures from their phones, portions of the car will be cut off, or the lighting will be really bad. Whenever you're running any type of business or you're doing any type of marketing, right, you want to convey your product in the best way possible. People go based off of looks. They judge how things look. So if you look at this car on the left, this is actually my car, by the way. This is a red 2024 Ford Bronco Sport, right? This car, more people are going to book this car on the left, right? Even though this gray Bronco Sport on the right, you might get better service with this host. The car might be in better condition, right? But people are just going to assume that this Bronco Sport on the left, they're going to get better quality of service with this one on the left. And that's kind of how our society is. People judge based off of looks. My recommendation is to take better photos of your cars. Now, you don't have to go all out and hire a photographer like I did. If you want to save the money, you can take pictures from your smartphone. Let's say you have an iPhone. You just want to make sure you go out at the right time of day to take these pictures, because lighting is everything. So my recommendation is to take the pictures like really early in the morning or like later in the day when the sun is going down. That's going to give you the best lighting for your photos. And also you want to make sure your background is good. If you look at this picture on the right, it looks like you took it in his driveway. My recommendation is, if you go somewhere like the picture that I took, at this specific location, it's a school parking lot. But I really like this area because you can see the skyline of the city in the background. So I really like this picture, and I'm probably going to use this backdrop for all of my cars moving forward because it just looks really nice. And also, when you're taking your pictures, you want to make sure the whole car is shown. If you look at the picture, if you look at this gray Bronco Sport, you can't even see the top of the car. He was standing too close, right? I could have took a better picture with this, than this guy on my own. But yeah, this is like my first recommendation, man. Just take nicer quality pictures. Like 95% of all the Turo listings kind of look like this picture on the right. Right, and this is a very easy thing to do. You could Google how to take better pictures. They'll give you tips, they'll give you ideas, right? Or if you don't want to do it yourself, you can hire a photographer like I did. But yeah, if you don't have a camera, that's okay. But yeah, and investing a little bit up front will do you better in the long run because you're going to make more money, right? So yeah, you might spend more money up front, but it's going to help you make more money. So I think it's well worth the investment. Go and hire a photographer. If you can't, take a little bit of time extra in your day to go, find a nice backdrop, make sure your car is clean, wake up earlier in the morning or do it later in the afternoon and take really nice pictures of your cars. It's well worth it. All right, the next recommendation that I have to help you get more bookings is to have an open calendar, right? So what you want to do is you want to have your minimum trip notice set to 1 hour, and you want to have your trip buffer set to 8 hours or less, right? Now, I know a lot of people work jobs. Turo isn't their full-time gig yet. It's not my full-time gig. I actually have a 9 to 5 that I do, right? So I can't just sit around my cars all day, handing people keys. So what I do is I do contactless key exchanges. So I allow the guests to pick up the cars on their own, and I will have the car already ready for them. All my cars, as soon as they get back from a trip, I already have it cleaned, vacuumed. I take the pictures, and I leave the key in the car. So that way, when someone books it and they book it with only an hour notice, they could just pick it up. I don't have to worry about getting the car ready for them. It's already ready, so, and obviously you need to be doing contactless key exchanges in order for this to work. And then also I allow people to book at any time of the day. If they want to book at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 12 a.m., it doesn't matter. They can book at any time of the day. I have an open calendar, right? And this is going to help you get more bookings. When you constantly put a bunch of calendar blocks on your schedule and you have a 2-day buffer time and you have a 8-hour minimum trip notice time, your cars aren't going to get booked that often, right? I know it's going to be tough. However, using contactless key exchanges like using a lockbox or having some type of remote unlock capability on your cars will help with that, right? And so the device I use is called MoveTrax. And basically, it's a GPS tracker. It comes with kill switch, and it also comes with the remote unlock capability. I prefer that over the lock boxes, but it really just comes down to your preference. A lot of people like the lock boxes because they're cheap. With my device, I can send guest links. So I can send a link to the guests, before the trip starts, and then they can unlock the car themselves. If I know I'm going to be busy, or let's say I'm going to be asleep, I'll just send that guest link, and then they can unlock the car. So I don't have to worry about sending them the code or nothing like that, right? But yeah, this is pretty much what I recommend is having, an open calendar with very little, you don't want to have, you don't want to be constantly blocking off, times on your calendar, because your cars are going to show up as high in the algorithm and your cars are going to get it booked. All right. And the last recommendation that I have is to optimize your pricing. So all of my cars are set to dynamic pricing, and dynamic pricing, basically what it is it's an enhanced version of Turo's like automatic pricing that they used to have. And it goes more in depth. It goes based off the value of your car, the year, the make and model, and the area that you're located in to determine the price of your car, right? So it works pretty good. You still have to update it depending on the type of car you have. It works really well for like my economy cars, but my more higher end cars, I notice I have to adjust the pricing more, right? So, and then also you want to, continuously adjust your prices as the demand changes throughout the year. So like every day I'll go in and I'll update my pricing, based on how my cars are getting booked. So if I notice that my cars are getting booked like months in advance, I'll go in and I'll raise the prices, right? And let's say a couple of days goes by, I don't get any bookings, I'll lower the price by a few dollars for the next 4 to 5 days just so I can get some bookings. So I'm always going and updating my pricing. Another thing you can do is you can do research on what other cars are in your area. So for example, I have 3 Chevy Trailblazers here on the right? I have, let's say these are 3 different Turo listings, right? We have one Chevy Trailblazer listed for 70, and then we have another Chevy Trailblazer listed for 80, and then another listed for 90, right? So basically what you want to do, and I use this method too, is I'll go in and I'll take the average of these 3 cars. So if we pretty much add all of these 3 numbers together and then just divide it by 3, it'll give us the average, right? Which is basically 80. So, all right, so what I'll do is then I'll take that average, which is 80, and then I'll just multiply that by 5 to 10%, and then I'll just subtract that from 80. So basically what you get is about $72 to $76, right? So this would be the daily rate of the car that I want to list my Chevy Trailblazer at. You basically want to just, and basically just to sum all of that up, you just want to take the average of all the other make and models of your car in your area, and then just subtract it by 5 to 10%, and that'll be your new daily rate. And that'll be realistically what you want to list your car at. Because Turo, people are going to book your car. Pricing is probably the most important, factor in whether someone books your car or not, right? If your car is listed for $50 and you have another person have their car listed for $30 a day, they're going to rent the one that's cheaper, especially if it's the same year, make, and model, they're going to rent the cheaper one. So I would recommend doing this. This also helps as well, but continuously optimizing your pricing, updating your pricing as the demand changes throughout the year is very helpful. So like whenever my cars are not getting booked, I'll go in and I'll just lower the prices by a few dollars, right? But this is pretty much it, man. These are the 3 things that I recommend doing to help you optimize your listings and get more bookings. If you do all of these 3 steps, you will notice that your cars will show up higher in the search rankings. I'm always looking through Turo as a guest just to see how my cars, rank against other cars. And my cars are always, at the top, probably top 5. There'll be like 90 cars. My cars are like one of the first few cars listed pretty much all the time because I have an open calendar, right? So this is pretty much it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got value from this video. Let me know down in the comments what other videos you want me to make. Or just, if you have an idea of something that you want me to comment on or make a video on, just let me know. But that pretty much was going to be it, man. I'll see you guys later.